So we're in week 4 and this is video 5 and probably going to be 1 or 2 videos about unions. So the very first thing that I want to say, and it's written on this screen, is note, full disclosure. I currently work in a unionized position. So I'm a member of the full-time faculty complement at Durham College. And because we are a unionized workplace, then that means that I'm a member of OPSU, which is the Ontario Public Servants Employees Union. So it's a provincial union, Ontario Public Service, and every single full-time faculty member who works at Durham College, part of working here is that you must belong to the union. So I'm experienced in working in a unionized environment as an employee, but I'm also experienced in all of my prior positions. I worked in unionized environments and I was a manager. So when I worked at Brock Township, I was the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, so clearly that's a management position. And when I worked at the Durham District School Board, I was a manager. And all of my staff were always supervised, or all of my staff were always part of a union. So unions. This gives you an idea of how many people in Canada work in a place that is unionized, that is subject to the rules of an agreement that's worked out by all of the employees, negotiating with the employer or management to come up with an agreement about working conditions, because that's what a union does, is it governs the working conditions in an organization. And this slide kind of gives you that information, as in what percentage of employees in each of the provinces work in a union. So working in a union can have some pros and cons. You've probably heard things. Some of them might be true, some of them might not be true, because people seem to be very passionate about unions and either believe that they're valuable ways for working people to organize in a business to ensure their rights are upheld. So be thinking about the Employment Standards Act and other acts that we've looked at. Unions sometimes enforce those acts or make sure that they're enforced or improve them, the working conditions. But some people also believe that we don't need unions because they're disruptive, they cost money, and there's some other problems. And we already have employment standard acts that look after working conditions, so they're really not necessary. So I want you to do a little bit of research so that you understand what some of the pros are and cons are of unions. And then in the following video, I'm going to give you some terms that you might need to be familiar with if you work in a union environment, especially if you've never worked in one before, that you should be aware of. And definitely you'll want to be aware of them if you ever end up managing or supervising people in a union. So read through these slides, okay? So thinking about, yeah, we do have laws about working conditions and minimum wages, but if that's all we have to go with, that's where we would end up. Okay, so take a look at some of these slides with pros and cons. And then I'm going to start back with this video, or start back here in our next video.